The core idea of second wave feminism can be captured, can be summarized in one simple slogan, that is, personal is political. In this video, we are going to understand the meaning of this slogan. What is personal is political. But in order to do this, we need to first understand the context in which the slogan was given. And for this, we need to know what is feminism and, most importantly, what is second wave feminism. Okay, so let us begin with feminism. Feminism is an ideology, it is a movement that is directed towards ending women's subjugation, their exploitation in society. Okay, so what is the goal of feminism? To end women's subjugation, their exploitation, their oppression in society. Now, in order to end women's subjugation and exploitation in society, what is the first thing that we need to do? We need to first of all find the causes, the sources of women's subjugation in society. Only when we know the causes, only when we know the sources of exploitation and subjugation, only then we will be able to end it and cure it. Okay, now in the late 19th and early 20th century, a group of women came together and they started searching for these causes, examining the society for these causes. And they came up with the conclusion that the condition of women in society is poor, that women are subjugated in society, they are exploited in society because they don't have a right to vote and they don't enjoy equal legal status in society. Now, this was the conclusion of this group of women. Now, this group of women, they started a movement that was later called first wave feminism. The demand of the first wave feminists were quite simple. They demanded right to vote and equal legal status in society. And by the mid of 20th century, their demands were fulfilled. Their demands were met. And in America and Europe, women were given right to vote and they were given equal legal status with respect to their male counterpart. Now, women have got the right to vote and they enjoy equal legal status in society. It was expected that the subjugation of women, the oppression of women, the exploitation of women in society must end. But women, that means the still subjugation of women in society continued. That means women were still subjugated in society even after getting these legal and political right. The condition of women in society was not improving. They were still subjugated, they were still facing exploitation, they were still oppressed. Okay, so the requirement was felt that the causes of women subjugation must be re-examined. Okay, we need to again revisit at the causes of women subjugation in society. And this was done in 1960s and 70s. Again, a group of women came together. They again started re-examining the causes of women's subjugation in society. And this time, they asked a very simple question. They started with a very simple question. They asked, where is women most subjugated? That means, which place where women experience subjugation, oppression, exploitation the most? Now, this group of women, they gave the answer that woman is most subjugated inside the private sphere of family. Now, this was a unique thing to say. This was a unique thing to say. This was against the established norms and tradition of the society, because at that time it was considered that family is a sphere where people live in harmony together, men and women with their children, they live in harmony peacefully together. Now, this group of women were saying that it is inside the family that a woman is most subjugated. This claim that family is a site of women's subjugation, this claim was unique, this claim was radical. And the group of women who stated this claim, they gave rise to a new movement in feminism that was later called second wave feminism. And since their claim was radical, since their claim was unique and against the established norms and tradition of the society, that is why they were also called radical feminist. Now, this second wave feminism is also called radical feminism. Now, the solution which this second wave feminist proposed in order to end women's subjugation of society, that solution is summarized in this particular slogan that is called personal is political. So it is in this context that this slogan is coming up. Personal is political. Second wave feminism. It is in this context the slogan is coming up. Okay, now we need to understand what is the meaning of this slogan. Personal is political. Now, all the liberal political theories and all the liberal political thinkers, starting from Aristotle, Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, Mill, Bentham, and John Rawls, even the contemporary political thinkers like John Rawls, all the liberal political thinkers and theories, they state that society is divided into two spheres, public sphere and private sphere. Now, this is the basic assumption of all the liberal political theories of our time, and all the political thinkers, they say this. And what is the most important political theory of our time? That is liberal democracy. This is the most important political theory of our time, liberal democracy. And this is the basic assumption of liberal democracy, that society is divided into two spheres, public sphere and private sphere. Okay, what is public sphere? Public sphere, it is the sphere of governance and politics. It is in this sphere where government is active, politics is active. Okay, private sphere, it is the sphere of individual, where individual is free, free to make choices, and there is privacy. This is called private sphere. In the public sphere, what is the basic characteristic? The most important characteristic of public sphere is power. Why? Because in the public sphere you have laws of the government, and government, through its laws, it regulate the behavior and activities of people in the public sphere. Okay, government have laws, and the laws of the government is applicable only in the public sphere. In the private sphere, it is the sphere which is free from power. That means government is not allowed to interfere in the private sphere. The laws of government is not applicable in the private sphere. This is the basic feature, the basic characteristic, the most important characteristic of private sphere. It is assumed that private sphere is free from power. Okay, and when we say private sphere, we must understand that by private sphere we are basically meaning family, because private sphere, till family it is private. Okay, till family it is private. Public sphere starts after family. After family we enter into public sphere, but inside family it is the sphere of privacy. Okay, now public sphere, since power is the most important characteristic of public sphere, this sphere is called political. Public sphere is called political. Okay, so by political we mean public sphere. Okay, by political we mean public sphere. Now private sphere, since it is free from power, no governmental interference is seen in private sphere. It is where individual is free to make choices, take decisions without any interruption, without any interference. Private sphere is called personal, and the important feature of this personal sphere, that it is non-political. Private sphere is considered non-political. Now, this is the basic assumption of all the liberal theories, especially the theory of liberalism and democracy. This is the basic assumption, and all the political thinkers, liberal political thinker, starting from Aristotle, Hobbes, Locke to John Rawls, all of them endorse it. Okay, they acknowledge this division of society into two spheres of public and private. Okay, now this second wave feminist, they are challenging these liberal political theories. They challenge the liberal political theories and liberal political thinkers. They challenge the division of society into two spheres. One is public and another is private. They challenge this division. They challenge the basic assumption of these liberal political theories. Now, as we saw, that according to liberal political theories, private sphere is free from power. We saw that it is free from power. It is the sphere where individual is able to make personal choices, free personal choices. It is a sphere which is free from power relations. That means, according to liberal political theories, inside private sphere, one is free to make choices, and there is no power relations available here. That means the relation that exists in the private sphere, that is inside family, is based on equality. There is no domination, and there is no domination of one person of the other over the other person. Domination is not seen in the private sphere. This is the assumption of liberal political theories. Okay, but in reality, the feminists say, the second wave feminists say that in reality the private sphere is not like this. In reality, the private sphere, that is the sphere of family, is not like this. That means free personal choices. Only one member of the family is able to make free personal choices. Free personal choice available only to men. Only men are able to make free personal choices. Women are not allowed to make free personal choices. For them, their role in the family is fixed, and they have to do that role. That is the domestic work, child rearing, taking care of the family. These are the roles which are considered natural for women, inevitable for women. So when we talk about free personal choices inside family, then this is available only to men, not to women. This is what these feminists are saying, this feminists are claiming. So the idea that inside private sphere one is able to make free personal choices, this idea is flawed. This idea is completely flawed. Okay, now the second assumption, that in private sphere is free from power relation, this is also not true. Feminists say, the second wave feminists say, that the relationship between man and a woman is based on power. They say that the relationship between man and woman is not based on equality, it is based on power. It is the man who dominates the woman. It is the man who dominates the woman. And wherever there is domination, there must be power. There must be power. So the relationship between a man and a woman inside family is also a power relation. So the another assumption of liberal political theories and political thinkers, that the sphere of family is power free. That means there is no power relation available inside the private sphere. Even this assumption is flawed, and even this assumption is wrong. This is what second wave feminists are claiming. Okay, now the private sphere, as we have seen, as the feminists are claiming, second wave feminists are claiming, in reality private sphere is a sphere of inequality. There is inequality of power, inequality of choices. There is inequality in private sphere. There is hierarchy. One is superior, one is inferior. One dominates, the other is dominated. In private sphere there is domination. So all these things, that inequality, hierarchy, domination, all these things are found inside the private sphere, inside the family. Liberal political theorists, they assume that inside family everything is fine, there is no power relation, the relationship is based on equality, based on consent. But these second wave feminists are claiming that this is not the case. Inside the private sphere there is condition of inequality, hierarchy and domination. And this inequality, hierarchy and domination, this is invisible to us. Why? Because government is not allowed to look inside the family, inside the private sphere. Government is not allowed to look inside the private sphere. This is the basic assumption of liberal political theories. As I told you, that the role of government is limited to the public sphere. Government is not allowed to interfere in the private sphere. Okay, now when government will not interfere in the private sphere, it will look inside the private sphere, how these inequalities, these hierarchy, these domination will be corrected, how this will be cured, okay. Now this is what the second wave feminists are claiming. Now, they say that justice must be established in the private sphere, and when justice will be established in the private sphere, when this inequality, this condition of inequality, hierarchy, and domination is cured, is solved. Okay, this is what second wave feminists are saying. And when the problem of inequality, hierarchy, and domination in the private sphere will be solved, when private sphere is made open to normative scrutiny, and by normative scrutiny we mean that when principle of justice will be applied inside the private sphere, and in order to apply the principle of justice inside the private sphere, we have to open the private sphere to government scrutiny. We have to allow government to look inside the private sphere. We have to allow government to make laws for the private sphere. Okay, that is what we need to do. And when private sphere is made open to normative scrutiny, when private sphere is made open to look, okay, by the government, when government interferes in the private sphere in order to establish justice there, when this happens, then private sphere, that is the personal sphere, is no longer non-political, it becomes political. Okay, so this is what the second wave feminists are saying, that personal is political. That means the private sphere should be made a political issue, This is what second wave feminists are saying. Okay, now here in this way we understand what is the meaning of personal is political. But in order to get a better picture of what this slogan mean, we need to understand what this slogan does not mean. There are some misconceptions regarding the slogan personal is political. Some say that personal is political. By this slogan, second wave feminists, they advocate abolition of public-private distinction. Public-private distinction. That means they claim that the stand of second wave feminists regarding right to privacy is not clear. But this is not the case. Second wave feminists, they support right to privacy. They accept that private sphere is important. It is important to have a private sphere. It is important to have a sphere in one's life where government authority is limited. It is important to have a private sphere. But the condition is that this private sphere should be power free. Okay, the nature of this private sphere, they are concerned about the nature of this private sphere. They want the private sphere to be based on the principle of equality and consent. They don't want to abolish this public private distinction. Only what they want to do is that they want to apply the principle of justice in the private sphere also. That means those principles of justice which are applied in the public sphere, those principles of justice that must be applied in the private sphere also. Okay, if the public sphere is democratic, then the private sphere should also be made democratic. This is what their demand is. This is what their basic claim is. Okay. One more misconception regarding personal is political is that some people claim that by this slogan personal is political, the second wave feminists, they are advocating for the abolition of family. Well, this is also not the case. They don't advocate abolition of family. Contemporary feminists don't support the idea of abolishing family. Okay, they accept the claim, they accept that family is a site of oppression. Inside family, women are subjugated, they are exploited, but they don't want to abolish family. What they want to do is that they want to democratize family. They want the family life to be governed by the principle of justice. They want that the principle of justice should be applied inside family also. That is what they want. They want to democratize family. Okay, they say that if we democratize the private sphere, only then we can have true democracy in the public sphere. So the first and the most important condition to have a democratic public sphere is to have a democratic private sphere, a democratic family. They don't want to abolish family, they want to democratize it. They want the principle of justice to be applicable inside family also. Okay, so they say that if there is equality and justice for women in private sphere, only then there can be justice and equality for women in public sphere. They are claiming that public and private sphere should not be disconnected. They must be connected. We need to understand that both the spheres are dependent on each other. Okay, if the public sphere, if you are applying the principle of justice in the public sphere, then you must apply those principle in the private sphere also. This is what second wave feminists are claiming. This is what is the meaning of the slogan personal is political. Okay, I hope I have made you understand the meaning of this particular slogan, personal is political. Okay, so in this video we will do till this. Okay, and maybe in next video we can come up with some more new concept. Till then, goodbye and take care of yourself. Thank you.